Thank you all for joining us. Would you please rise as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Here. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Here.
Councilman Dooley?
Here.
Excuse me. Councilman Marcoccia?
Here.
Supervisor Calavita?
Here. Good evening. Our next matter on the agenda is a public hearing to consider the adoption of the Town of Eastchester's 2023 calendar year budget. And I'll make a motion to open the public hearing and ask for a second, please.
Second.
All right, please call the roll at opening public hearing.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Here.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Anyone wish to address us? Now, there being none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. And ask for a second. Thank you, Sheila. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. All right, I want to ask Dawn Donovan to give a presentation regarding the budget so folks at home know what we're dealing with here. It's a very good budget, but nonetheless requires attention.
Good evening, Supervisor Calavita, Town Board members, and the residents of the Town of Eastchester. I have a brief presentation on our 2023 budget. The total budget for 2020, the proposed budget for 2023 is $37,923,000. It represents an increase of $1.2 million over the 2022 budget. It's still within the tax cap, which is what we've been doing for the last 12 years, and it's really very difficult to do during these times, but we were able to do it this year. The supervisor, the town board, and other elected have had the same salary since 2004. As I said, it's the 12th year of the tax cap compliance, which is 2%. We recently did a bond rating, and it was reaffirmed at AAA, and our stress is in the no designation category, which means that we really don't have any stress, fiscal stress, which is a good thing. And this year, the town outside budget is, for the last two years, it's been 0%. Another note on that effect is that in the past 3 years, we've had a 0.38% increase. In the past 4 years, it's been a 0.59% increase in the town outside budget. This chart just shows us the tax rates per 1,000 in each for townwide, town outside, sewer, and the Garth Road district. Did it change? Sorry, it didn't change. There you go. Everybody's really interested in what their tax rate will be for the average person. So in the town outside, in Eastchester, it's a 0% increase. In Tuckahoe, at an average assessment of $7,300, it's an increase of $11.91 or 99 cents per month. And in Bronxville, at an average of $21,700, it's a $35.39 annual increase or $2.95 per month. These are relatively low numbers. Also, just so everybody's aware that the town is required under the Westchester County tax law to collect taxes for the fire district, the 2 school districts, and the county. And our collection rate is, for the last for 2022, is 98.5%. So it's a very good collection rate. A couple of highlights in the budget. Our health insurance is increasing about 7%. On the next slide, I have a chart of the retirement system. Our sales tax and mortgage tax, we've increased those slightly. Our union contracts, which is our staffing, in 2020, CSEA expires in 2024. We just settled that one. The PBA expires at the end of this year, and we're just started negotiations for that. And this shows a snapshot of the last 10 years of our retirement system contribution. It's good to note that in 2003, our contribution was only $104,000 compared to our $2.7 million in 2023. And then our staffing in 2020, since 2024 to 2004 to now, we've lost about 33% of our staff, so we're doing more with less employees. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
No, just I want to thank you for all your efforts on the budget and all the components that go into the budget. It is not easy. The budget process starts in early August, and then, it concludes hopefully this evening, but it's a long process. There's a lot of work that goes into it by department heads, by the controller staff, by the town board, by Lake Isle Advisory Board, in addition to that. So it's quite a collaborative process, and our collective efforts have resulted in what I think is a very good spending plan for the year 2023. Just a couple other things to throw out there so people have a better perspective on things. Out of the 100% of your tax bill that you pay to all the different governments in the town of Eastchester, villages of Bronxville, and Tuckahoe, your town tax bill, if you live in a town outside of the two villages, meaning in Eastchester proper, okay, that amount of money that you pay is approximately 12.5% of your total tax bill. So though pound for pound, you probably get the most amount of services from the town government, we only represent 12.5% of your overall tax bill. You have the county taxes, your fire taxes, your sewer and water, and you have your school taxes, of course, which is generally about 65 to 70%. And if you live in the two villages outside of the town proper, we represent only 1.5%, 1.75% of your overall tax bill. So you get a lot of recreation, a lot of courts, a lot of fields, a lot of other services from the town government for what is amounting to be less than 2% of your overall tax bill. It's also important to note, I think the controller mentioned that the town board is not accepting any raises either. And I have not had a raise. This will be my 20th year serving the people of Eastchester, Tuckahoe, and Bronxville without a raise. I'm making the same amount that I made back in 2004. I also don't take advantage of the gas pumps at the highway yard, nor do I have a town vehicle that I utilize as former supervisors have used. So if I'm going to ask people to, tighten up their belt and do a little bit more because we have less staff, I'm certainly not going to take raises and take advantage of what's available to me as a supervisor. Also, there have been no cuts to the Eastchester Police Department. We have not reduced that budget other than what is normal and customary, increases and revenue projections that come out of there. And also, as Dawn had mentioned, if you take the last 4 or 5 years, we're averaging less than 0.5% for the town outside budget, which is very significant because the town outside budget is the largest budget in our collective process. It's more than 3 times the town-wide budget. Town-wide budget is a lot smaller, and the town outside levy, meaning the amount we take from the public, is more than 4 times what the town-wide levy is, okay? So the town-wide budget increase is 4.2%, but that represents a very, very small component of the budget, and the levy is far, far smaller than the 0% increase, or no increase, I should say, that's in the town outside budget. Also, as was mentioned earlier, and I can't resist saying this, there's a $322,000 jump in our retirement system contribution. I thought the days of, $3 million payments were over, but unfortunately they're not. And when you factor in inflation, factor in the recession that we are most definitely in, and the stock market, moving downward, that generally indicates, it has historically indicated to me, that Albany will be asking for a lot more money because they are not going to be able to, reach their projections as far as the Constitution requires. And our New York State Constitution requires that each municipal government fund its pension in full each year. And it all depends on the investments by the state. And if the controller's office, the state controller's office, not our controller's office, loses money because of whatever reason, we have to make up the difference. In the year 23-24, that's another $322,000 that we have to send to New York State, without, any compensation or any kind of break on that. But anyway, with that being said, we do have a very good spending plan, and we did spend a great deal of time with the Lake Isle Advisory Board working out a very modest increase at Lake Isle, and we certainly are going to work with Valley Crest, which is the entity that does the maintenance for the golf course. We're in the middle of their contract negotiation. Probably within the next 2 or 3 meetings, we'll approve the management and the golf pro there. But it's all been allocated for in our budget, which is most modest. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and this is, with the board's indulgence, now that the public hearing is closed, I'd like to move to item 9B. 9B is our, memorandum from the controller on the adoption of the preliminary budget to make it the official budget. And by law, I need to read aloud the salaries, and the supervisors is 98,093.00, which is what it was in 2004, I might add. The council members also, since that date, $15,831. Our 2 judges, $42,545. Receiver of taxes, $65,000. And the town clerk, $87,605. And those remain unchanged. So with that being said, I'd like to just turn it over to the board. If anyone has any further comments they'd like to make,
Sure.
please, Mr. Marcocha.
Thank you, Supervisor. No, I just wanted to comment just on the back of what the supervisor was saying. The New York State retirement system, in addition to the additional 300 odd that we are funding, the total number is well over $2.5 million, which is just a huge number considering just not long ago we weren't making contributions at all. So that, just want to put that, kind of highlight that a little bit to give people a sense of what we've been doing as a board here, trying to keep costs down and trying to figure out ways to come up with additional revenues to compensate for this $2.7 million. That's just an example. I think this year the 0%, keeping the budget flat is just is a great thing. As we all know, inflation is through the roof, as are energy prices, and as the supervisor said, if we're not in a recession, feels like we are anyway, and they're projecting that we're going to be in one. But I agree with the supervisor that we are there, and I think this is just a nice relief that we can provide our residents. And then in Bronxville and Tuckahoe, we tried very hard to keep that increased minimal, and we have. So we're doing all of this in addition to keeping the high level of services that we've all been accustomed to and appreciate and like. So there's no impediment to the services that you're going to receive. And also, we're investing in our town in multiple fronts. And the biggest investment you're going to see very soon, and we've been talking about it in various meetings, are the park improvements at Leawood Park, where we're going to have brand new tennis courts, 6 of them. We're going to have pickleball courts, 6 of those. That's just an up-and-coming sport there. In addition to a new playground, a new baseball diamond for the little leaguers, the smaller guys and girls, and resurfaced basketball courts as well there. So I'm just very pleased with the budget, with the work that we've all done, with the work that our controller has done, and all staff for that matter. It's not easy to put together a 0% budget year after year, and it's particularly hard to come in with the numbers we have over the period that we have over the last 5 or 10 years. So I think I'm very pleased with where we sit tonight on this budget. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, just quickly, I just want to thank Dawn and all the department heads and everyone out there who had a hand in this. It's a great budget, and, as we all said, considering the inflation rates that are out there this year, people have asked me, how are we going to keep our budget, under control, and this is just a great budget based on what's happening out there. So thanks for everybody's help on this. That's it.
Marquette?
Thank you, Supervisor. I, too, would echo the sentiments of my colleagues in government here. Don, great job. All the department heads. I know it's a lot of work. Tony referenced that the budget work begins in August. I think it actually begins earlier than that. I know, Luigi works with Lake Isle all year long, and the contracts and putting together great deals that can just do nothing but benefit the town. It's
it's really a year-long project, and, you know, we only probably reference it at the end of the year when we all come together to put this budget together. So it really is a good budget. I think the conversation tonight really underscores the fact that municipalities are not immune to inflation and, you know, all these other economic, you know, fluctuations, if you will, and to put together a budget of this caliber with the zero tax increase, I think is very, should be well received by the residents. And I know I say it every year, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's worth repeating, but we talk about what's in the budget, but it's also worth pointing out what's not in the budget. And it's not a budget filled with, you know, one-shots and gimmicks and layoffs and things of that nature, which of course would be very easy to do. I mean, that's an easy thing to do to achieve many budgetary and economic goals, and it's not what we did here. So a very nice job by yourself, the supervisor, and department heads, and I thank you for that. That's all, Supervisor.
All right.
All right, I might as well add my, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. A big thanks to all who were involved with the budgeting, and big thanks to Dawn. So I hope you get some rest over the holidays and get time to relax.
Right in the middle of the audit, right?
I start the audit, so it's just a cycle
on.
that keeps going, so what can I tell you? I get the audit done really in
Thank you.
January, so we move right along.
All righty, so then, having all that been done, someone care to make a motion to adopt the 2023 preliminary budget of the town of Eastchester as our actual budget?
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcochia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Okay. Next, we have the opportunity to address the board on a specific agenda item. All right, moving forward, we have appointments. We have a Board of Assessment and Review appointment, and I'm recommending the reappointment of Mike O'Leary of Fairway Drive to the position of Board of Assessment Review member effective October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2027. Someone care to make a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcochia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye, thank you, Mr. Leary, for your service. You've done a good job. There's been a lot of O'Learys in the town for a long time, and we thank him for his service. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of the November 15th, November 21st, November 28th, and November 29th special town board meetings. Anyone care to make any amendments or modifications? No, there being none, someone care to approve same?
So moved.
Make a motion? Yeah, I'll do a second. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcochia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Next, we have reports of departments, boards, and commissions. We have Law Department report, Mr. Rader.
Yes, good evening. First, I have a resolution authorizing a settlement of a claim by Borum Ragova against the town of Eastchester in the amount of $4,111.65 for damages sustained to Mr. Ragova's vehicle on July 26, 2022.
All right, so moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcochia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye.
And next, I have a resolution authorizing a settlement of a certiorari proceeding instituted by Acme Markets, Inc., affecting the premises known as Section 4, Block 3, Lots 17A and 17B. The addresses being 8 and 12 Cedar Street in Bronxville. And on Lot 17A, the assessment years are 2017 through 2022, tax years 2018 through 2023, believe it or not. And the total town tax refund on that lot and that address is 0. And the next lot, which is 17B, the assessment years are the same, 17 through 22, and the tax years 18 through 23. And the total town tax refund on lot 17B is $1,866.80.
So moved?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcochia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. We can receive and file the Receiver of Taxes report for the month of October 2022. We have the October 2022 monthly report from the Town Clerk's office. Anything further?
No.
All right, we can accept same and file same. We have now correspondence. We have memorandum from the controller on our part-time and seasonal employees. This is basically kicking in our winter camps and our recreational basketball league. So I'll make the motion, ask for a second, please.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Markocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. There being no miscellaneous business, we have council member reports. Councilman Markocha?
Just one quick one. I want to remind everyone during this holiday season to please shop local. We have so many great stores here locally in Eastchester, Bronxville, and Tuckahoe. Please take advantage of them and support them. It's important for our tax base, and it's important for our business owners as well, and just the vibrancy of our downtown districts. And that concludes my report.
Councilman Dooley?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to reiterate shopping local. I think it's important, and eating local, too. You know, we have a lot of great restaurants here, so go out and support our local businesses. And special thanks to the rec department and all the neighborhood associations who had their tree lightings over the weekend. There might be a couple left, but just a great job, and the town looks great, so thanks to everybody there. That concludes my report.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. Just on behalf of the Eastchester Public Library, there's a lot going on this week. Tomorrow, there's the EPL Mystery Club, and that's at 2:30 p.m. Discussion on Irbi Mukherjee, The Shadows of Men. Another fun item is Knit with Marissa tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And Nala, meet and greet Nala. Stop by the children's room and spend time with Nala, a sweet and loving black lab therapy dog. No registration required. It's open to all ages. And on Thursday, we have the crochet class and card making for kids. And Friday, they have a big film series, The Duke Friday, at 1 p.m. And there isn't, hold on one second, excuse me. Also, looking for one kind of a holiday gift shop, stop by the library and visit the Hudson River Potter's Holiday Show. Free admission. A portion of each sale benefits the library. This will be on Saturday, December 10th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and on Sunday, December 11th, from 1 to 5. So come out and participate with the library's activity. If you have any questions, you could call 914-793-5055, or you could go to www.eastchesterlibrary.org. Thank you.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Thank you, Supervisor. Just a couple of things. The Recreation Department wants to invite everybody to their Sunday here in Town Hall from 11 to 2. They're having their Winter Fest with the inflatables and the RC race cars, the snow globe, a DJ and food truck, so it's going to be a lot of fun. That will be here at Town Hall from 11 to 2. After that, you can go over to Bronxville, and they are going to have fire trucks with Santa. I think Santa's supposed to arrive around 3 o'clock. They're doing that to sort of give a boost to the merchants and bring everybody out so you can shop local in Bronxville and, of course, every place else in town. So that's Sunday also in Bronxville. The Eastchester Fire Department, working together with the Town Hall employees here and the Marine Corps, is gathering toys for their Toys for Tots, and they do this every year. Lieutenant Quentin Baker is spearheading it. There will be 5 drop-offs. These are the toy boxes that will be at all of the firehouses throughout town, as well as I believe there's going to be one here in the lobby at Town Hall. So we encourage you to participate in that. And then lastly, I just want to remind residents that it is 81 years since the attack on Pearl Harbor, and of course our Eastchester veterans who remember everything, and it's a significant day to remember all the sacrifices, of course, and the men and the women who were lost 81 years ago. So they will be here at Town Hall at 7:55 in the morning doing a ceremony. Maybe get up a little earlier and stop by and stand with the veterans, and I know the supervisor and the council members will all be on hand. Just a nice thing to do and a nice thing to remember. And that concludes my report, Supervisor.
All right, thank you very much. You guys covered everything I was going to say, so thank you. So we'll move to the second opportunity to address the board. Mr. Sweeney.
Good evening. Frank Sweeney, 22 Lakeview Avenue. I have nothing but good vibes for tonight in terms of the capability. I'd like to introduce, or at least identify, that the Northeast Chester Civic Association will have its tree lighting on Friday evening at 5:45. Santa is arriving at 6. We encourage all the new members of the North End, even if they're not members of the Northeast Chester Civic Association, to attend. It's going to Rashino Park, which is directly across from Brook Street Bagel. Just for everybody's recollection, is the Brook Street Bagel has been a long-term sponsor of our tree lighting, more than 10 years, and he's a valued customer in terms of our people in the North End, and we encourage people to use his facilities as well. Second item is I want to just identify as a class act to you, Tony, and the town board on your reflection on the Eastchester swim team for Eastchester High School. Did a real nice job in terms of presenting them with a nice tribute to what they have done. And what has happened is that a number of girls that were on that team had their start at Lake Isle. A real tribute.
It's
They're
excellent.
competing at the state level in terms of the capability, and believe me, it's not an easy choice for them to make. But I just want to thank you for your time.
Well, thank you very much, Frank. You know, we're working on that indoor pool and / summer pool facility because we recognize how strong of a program we have in Eastchester. And if I recall correctly, a few years ago, the Lake Isle swim team won the county championship like 4 or 5 years in a row. They had a dynasty going.
Yeah.
And, you know, these kids really enjoy swimming. And it's also, you know, it's a very fertile sport for college scholarships and all. And I hope that, the kids are taking advantage of that. And what we envision is an Eastchester Eagles swim program similar to the Badgers and the Middies and the, all the big programs that are out there. So we've been working on that, and we want to certainly move that forward. But thank you for remembering the gals that won the state championship. It was really quite magnificent. And, we're very fortunate to have those youngsters in our town swimming so hard.
Just in closing, everybody have a great holiday, Merry Christmas, and best of the holiday season and the best of the new year as well.
You too.
Thank you.
All the
too.
best.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone care to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you.